Hey everyone. So welcome to day one of the Crush Your Sugar Craving Instagram challenge. We're going to be doing this for 5 days. So this is day one. So welcome. So what the main thing about crushing your sugar cravings that you need to know is you're going to be a lot more successful if you hack your physiology and your metabolism. Because if you can hack your metabolism, then you're not going to have that physical craving. You still might have an emotional desire craving for something sweet, and that's fine. But if a physical craving is taking over and you just get into this situation where the sugar craving monster takes over and you cannot control it and you don't know what came over you, then it's probably more like a physiological thing. So, starting on day one, the first thing I'm going to talk about is eating enough healthy, lean, clean protein and fats, healthy fats. So, most of us are protein deficient. We don't know it. So, when we need energy and we're tired, we reach for the sugar thing or the carby thing. And that is good for quick energy. But eating adequate protein is going to work better at controlling your sugar craving rather than restricting and saying this is a bad food, that's a bad food, that's a bad food, that's bad. Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that. We all know that that doesn't work very well when we put a lot of limitations on ourselves for most people. So what I want to talk about today is, it's my dog here, one of my dogs, I have two, is getting enough protein. So for the average person, that means you're going to be aiming for 90 to 120 grams of protein per day. And you're going to be on the higher end if you're a larger person, and you're going to be maybe on the lower end if you're like a smaller person like me. And so 30 grams of protein is roughly like 4 ounces of most meats. So that's, like the size of a deck of cards is usually about 4 ounces, give or take. And if you're going for a double portion, like 8 ounces of protein, of a cut of meat, then that's going to be 60 grams of protein for most people. So that is how we sort of eyeball and figure it out. That you can get the exact grams of protein for other things. So that's, that's a portion of meat, like the size of a deck of cards. Or with eggs, if you're eating eggs, that's actually 5 or 6 eggs, because each egg, normal sized egg, has about 6 grams of protein. People think, wow, I thought eggs had a lot more than that. Well, you have to eat a lot of them, and some people think, well, I need more than 2 eggs. Wow, that's a lot of cholesterol. I'm not worrying about cholesterol here. For most people, that's not the main problem. Triglycerides can be the problem, and triglycerides are from excessive carbohydrates. So if you have adequate protein and healthy fats in your diet, which I'll get into in a minute, you will crave less sugar. It will kind of give you a keel so that and kind of regulate your blood sugar and your insulin levels so that you're not spiking your blood sugars and having highs and lows and energy ups and downs and crashes all the time. You're going to have this nice, steady keel of protein and healthy fat, and you're going to feel more even during the day. You're going to have more even moods. You're going to have more even energy and cognition. And then, you want a little piece of chocolate after dinner, whatever. But it's not going to be running you. So it's more about giving yourself a nice, healthy keel. That's like the first thing to do is regulate your blood sugar levels. And you do that by eating more protein and some healthy fat. And I've had patients. I was running a weight loss program for many years. I'm not doing it as much right now, just because it was very controlled. It was very measured. That's my dog. He's hitting my tripod. It was very controlled and measured, and you know, people can do it like a boot camp, but after a while they sort of rebel, and so some people would, you know, gain the weight back. No, that's no fun. But one of the things that we noticed when we were doing that was it was kind of it was protein and sort of a low carb food plan, and sometimes when people would add in the carbs, they would get hungrier and they would crave more carbs and more, you know, and more sugars. So even though I'm not doing that so much now, the main building block for your blood sugar, for good solid blood sugar, is protein. So I'm posting today on my stories what I'm actually eating today, because I personally struggle some days with getting at least 90 grams of protein in, because it's not something I was brought up with. I was brought up eating a lot of sugar and carbs. I became a vegetarian for many years, thinking that would solve all my health problems, and you know, it helped clean up my diet because I was eating more whole foods, but it did not help with blood sugar stuff and energy. So the main thing is the protein. You got to have the protein. So you'll crave less sugar that way, and so that will at least get rid of the physical craving. Maybe not the emotional desire, but the physical craving for something sweet. So let's talk more about healthy fats. Healthy fats are fats that actually suppress inflammation in your body. Because inflammation in your body can also cause you to become fatigued, and then you crave the sugar because you're looking for some quick energy. And so healthy fats, so cook with these fats: olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, even beef tallow, grass-fed butter, if you can do a little bit of dairy like that, fish oils, and omega, you know, and basically these fats contain omega. They have a high smoking point, which means they won't go rancid easily. Rancid oils can cause cellular damage and oxidative stress, and inflammation. So those oils tend to hold their own in heat more and are better to cook with. Now, if you go out to restaurants, what they're going to use mostly is canola oil. It's cheap. The margins in the food restaurant business are very tight. They don't make a lot of money, really. The waitresses and wait staff, everybody survives on the tips that you leave. So what they want to use, in many cases, less expensive ingredients. And so they're going to use canola oil, or soybean oil, or Crisco, which is definitely saturated fat from plant origin. And those oils tend to break down, and they have more omega-6 fatty acids, which, as it metabolizes in your body, produces that's my dog. He wants to be near me. I'm so sorry. He wants to be near me, so he keeps kicking my tripod here, which is holding my camera. So anyway, the omega-6 fatty acids cause the arachidonic acid cascade when they metabolize, and they cause inflammatory prostaglandins. So they will drive inflammation in your body. So if you're eating a lot of restaurant food, you're eating out a lot, you're eating a lot of fast food, newsflash, you're probably getting a lot of inflammatory oils. So see if you can cook at home a little more and use the fats that contain more omega-3 fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory. They drive different prostaglandins. So you're actually hacking your metabolism by changing the oils that you eat. really any seed oil is probably not so good. Maybe you could get away with a little bit of smoked sesame oil, but don't cook with it. Like, if you're seasoning food, you can season with a little smoked sesame oil. But for the main thing, the oils that you want to eat will be, I'll repeat them, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, some grass-fed butter, fish oils, from eating salmon and those fatty, cold water fatty fishes, sardines. Those are going to be good. So we want to avoid inflammation, because that is going to cause fatigue, brain fog, and you're going to reach for the caffeine and the donut to maybe keep things going. And you're going to want to eat that protein. And if you're, someone like me who went many years not eating enough animal protein, you might need to add in a digestive enzyme that contains a protease that's going to help digest your food, your protein, because you might have, become a little hypochlorhydric. You might not have so much hydrochloric acid in your gut, in your stomach, producing that. So super important to have enough of that going on in your system so that you can digest your food, absorb the proteins, and you will notice probably right away you start eating enough protein, you're gonna feel fuller. You're gonna be less hungry when you eat that. I still have to hold this tripod because my dog, he's right next to me, and he keeps bumping it. So anyway, sorry about that. So the protein will stabilize your blood sugar. Take digestive enzymes, or even have a few sips of lemon water before you eat, if that helps. And healthy cooking with some healthy fats. Don't fear the fats. If you checked your cholesterol levels and you had high triglycerides, that's a sign that you are actually getting too many carbohydrates in your diet, and so we need to dial that down. Women with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, you're more susceptible to having these sugar cravings, because the polycystic ovaries affects the hormones in a way, and it does predispose you to developing type 2 diabetes at some point in your life. So you're definitely going to need to also heed this, and they can really crave sugar, people with PCOS. So super important to get that going. So what does eating 90 grams of protein a day look like? Well, for me, and I'm going to post what I'm eating today in the stories, since today is protein theme day 1. This morning I had 2 eggs, and then I had a protein smoothie, and I use beef protein from a brand called Equip, and I can post the link in the comment, and you can get if you use that link, you'll get a discount. So that's what I had for breakfast. I haven't had lunch yet, but I'm probably gonna have, just because I'm really busy today, I'm gonna have 1 to 2 boxes of sardines. Sardines are an acquired taste. I know a lot of people hate them. I always sort of like them. I don't know. I was given to them at Girl Scout camp for lunches where we'd be out doing stuff, and I just learned to like them. And you can add a little mayonnaise in there, make a salad. So 1 box of sardines is 21 grams of protein. So maybe I'll shoot for 1.5 of those boxes, or if I can get 2 of them down, that's 42 grams of protein. For dinner, I roasted a chicken last night, so we're gonna have the leftovers. So I'm gonna go for like 4 to 6 ounces of the roasted chicken meat, and I'll have some sides with that too. But that's what it looks like for a typical person. And there might be some snacks in there, you know, maybe I'll have some fruit between, or, you know, but that is what at least 90 grams of protein looks like in a day. So if you have a little stir fry, which is mostly vegetables with just a few little chunks of meat in it, you're probably not going to be getting enough of the protein unless you eat all the meat. If you're having oatmeal for breakfast, you're probably not going to be getting enough protein. You know, even if you put whole milk in there, you know, you're just not going to, it's just not going to be enough. So if you aim for the protein and healthy fats, you're going to do a lot better with getting that keel, building a keel in your body so that you're not, your physiology isn't swinging, wanting that refined sugar. That I explained this, I think I was on here Saturday, that refined sugar used to be extremely rare in our diets, in our native diets, in our ancestral diets. I'm talking before we were agricultural, like when we were hunter-gatherers. We ate basically meat and a little bit of tubers, maybe some plants we found that we could eat, maybe some berries, if we came upon berries, maybe some honey, if we came upon a beehive. But other than that, and that was the way it was for eons. You know, we only became agricultural in the last several thousand years. Somebody who knows anthropology could really explain this to me, you know, the exact periods of time. But I'm saying, it was explained to me once that if you take a clock, and that's like, you know, the dawn of time, the dawn of humanity. We're at like, we were hunter-gatherer until like 11 o'clock p.m., 11 o'clock. And then, you know, and then just in the last 2 minutes or 1 minute, you know, 11:59 is like the last 100 years when we really learned to cultivate sugar. Last 200 years, we really learned to get good at cultivating sugar. And now with the high fructose corn syrup that we are exposed to, that's in everything now. That, you know, that is in all of our candy now, all of our soft drinks, all of our, you know, everything's sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, ketchup even. And that has an even higher glycemic index than cane sugar of my youth. High glycemic index means if you eat something, it spikes your blood sugar. So, and then you have a crash, and then your body gets hypoglycemic, and then it wants more. So it becomes pretty addictive. So, and it's actually, you know, really sad that in some areas of the world, they've made soft drinks cheaper than clean water. It's more accessible than clean water. And they get poor people hooked on it. So we're seeing, you know, a lot of the same problems that we were seeing in the Western world. You know, once people got off their native diets, we're seeing it in areas because, you know, soft drinks and refined sugars and high fructose corn syrup are more available because it's a lot cheaper to grow corn and refine that sugar even than it is to grow cane sugar or beet sugar or date sugar or honey. You know, you need beehives for honey. So it becomes kind of an issue. So if you really want to control your sugar, rather than taking it away and saying bad, 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 I want your challenge for the next 5 days is to try to get at least 90 to 120 grams of protein per day. Okay? If you're a larger person, aim more for the 120. If you're a smaller stature person, you know, around 90. And let's be real, I don't always get there myself, but, you know, this will help crush your sugar cravings. So anyway, that is mainly what I've got for you today. I'm going to be on tomorrow. I think I'm scheduled for 10 o'clock a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. and we're going to go through where hidden sources of sugar might be. That's what we're going to talk about on day 2 tomorrow. But today, and for the next 5 days at least, I want you to really aim for the protein. And another tip, if you really want to hack your physiology, strength train, because that will build muscle. And then muscle metabolizes things differently than fat does, than fat cells do. So you could even be like a small person but have no muscle mass, and then you're what's known as skinny fat. So it's not about losing weight, it's not about that. It's about having enough muscle that you change your metabolism. And people with a lot of muscle don't crave sugar as much, especially if they're eating adequate protein. They're not craving sugar. So you will hack your physiology and you will not be so prone to craving the sugar. All right, that's pretty much what I'm looking through my notes. That's pretty much what I have for you today. And that's your challenge, 90 to 120 grams of protein, lean, clean protein per day. So thank you for coming on here. It's so great to see so many people have joined, and I will talk to you tomorrow.